Let's go over the NFHS new rules for the 2025 through 2026 basketball season. Let's review Rule 4-22-1 and 2, Offensive Goaltending. These rules were amended to indicate that only a defensive player can commit goaltending, eliminating the possibility of an offensive goaltending violation. The change removes the need to determine whether the ball in flight is a field goal attempt or pass. Any alteration of a shot attempt with contact to the basket or backboard by the offensive player would be considered basket interference. The committee believes that by removing the offensive goaltending violation, that the rule becomes simplified for officials and players. It removes the need to judge whether a ball is in flight for a try or a pass, resulting in clearer enforcement, greater consistency, and more opportunities for scoring plays near the basket. And here's an example of what offensive basket interference looks like.
My goodness, Jefferson dribble penetration goes up, no, a wild shot. Stevenson gets it out of there. And underneath, that's St. Clair and one! Out of there. And underneath. That's St. Clair and one. Jalen St. Clair with the finish. They're going to call basket interference. Basket interference, and it will be 2 free throws upcoming. The bucket does not count.
Now let's review Rule 4-22-3, Defensive Goaltending. This rule change establishes that once the ball contacts the backboard, it is automatically considered to be on its downward flight. Therefore, if a player touches the ball after it hits the backboard, and the ball has the possibility of entering the basket, it is ruled as goaltending. This clarification helps protect legitimate shot attempts, reduces rough rebounding situations, and addresses a common rule misconception among coaches and players. It provides officials with a clear standard for enforcing goaltending and backboard-related plays. This change enhances officiating clarity and protects legitimate shot attempts. It also addresses a common misconception among coaches and players by explicitly defining goaltending, leading to more consistent enforcement. Rule 4-34-1, Definition of a player. This rule change updates the definition of a player to clarify that a player is one of 5 team members legally on the court at any given time, except during timeouts or intermission. The change ensures consistency in rule enforcement by recognizing that it is difficult to distinguish between players, substitutes, and bench personnel during timeouts and intermissions. This clarification also supports the accountability of coaches for all team conduct during these periods and helps avoid misapplication of penalties such as technical fouls. This change ensures consistent enforcement of penalties for unsporting conduct by bench personnel. It allows officials to issue technical fouls to bench personnel during timeouts, aligning with the current rules for intermissions. It eliminates confusion and potential misapplication of rules and ensures fair and consistent enforcement of penalties for unsporting behavior, regardless of the individual's role. Rule 7-5-4 Front court throwing spot. This rule change updates the procedure for determining the designated throwing spot following a stoppage of play in the front court and back court. Instead of relying on an imaginary line, officials now use existing court markings, specifically the three-point line, to determine a location. This change improves accuracy, consistency, and clarity for officials by using visual floor markings rather than imaginary lines, which were often misjudged. By using the visible three-point line as the line of demarcation, officials will have a clearer and more consistent method for determining throwing locations. This improves accuracy and reduces confusion, resulting in more reliable throwing. Just remember this: if it happens outside the three-point arc, the ball will be put in play 28 feet from the end line on the sideline, near the nearest sideline. And if it happens inside the three-point arc, the inbound spot will be 3 feet from the nearest free throw lane line, on the end line, near the nearest inline spot. As a result of the penalty, the ball will be given to Team B in its backcourt. With this rule change, the location for the throwing spot in the backcourt mirrors the same location as the front court. Rule 9-2-12 and Rule 9-3-4. Throw delayed to return inbounds. This rule change addresses situations where a thrower purposely and or deceitfully delays returning inbounds after legally stepping out of bounds and then becomes the first player to touch the ball upon re-entering the court. Previously penalized as a technical foul, this action is now treated as a violation, aligning it with similar out-of-bounds scenarios. The change reduces the severity of the penalty to encourage more consistent enforcement by officials and prevents players from gaining an unfair advantage through deceptive re-entry tactics. Display the delayed violation signal, but don't blow your whistle unless he commits the violation. Once the ball is contacted by any player not responsible for the delayed violation signal, the delayed violation signal should be dropped, no matter the order of what player is violated. The change in this rule lessens the penalty for players who delay their return after being out of bounds, shifting the penalty from a technical foul to a less severe violation. This rule aligns with the penalty structure of similar violations, such as Rule 9-3-3. The change is intended to make it easier for officials to recognize and penalize these actions consistently while reducing the severity of the penalty, encouraging more accurate enforcement. Rule 10-4-4B. Contacting the backboard or ring. This rule prohibits players from illegally contacting the backboard or ring in ways that create an unfair advantage or interfere with a scoring attempt. This rule is designed to maintain fair play and protect the integrity of scoring opportunities by penalizing actions affecting the outcome of a shot with a technical foul. The rule change aims to standardize and clarify the enforcement of basket interference, leading to fairer outcomes and more consistent officiating. The removal of subjective judgments around intent allows for clearer rulings and better alignment with current game dynamics. Rule 4-6-1, A and B, basket interference clarification. This rule change clarifies and expands the definition of basket interference to include additional actions that unfairly affect the ball while it is in a scoring position. Basket interference now occurs when a player slaps or strikes the backboard, causing the backboard or basket to vibrate, while the ball is on or within the basket, touching the backboard, or within the cylinder.
Oh man! There you go!
Be sure to check your rulebook and casebook for these new rule and editorial changes. And don't forget about the points of emphasis for the NFHS 2025 through 2026 basketball season. The topics include bench decorum and communication, faking being fouled, and contact on the ball handler. And as a friendly reminder, let's all review the official's code of ethics. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, and please feel free to share. I'm the Professor, and thanks for watching.